Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Just kidding, I've always wanted to say that though. Mind you, am I kidding? Because I'm putting this on YouTube, so technically, let's not go there. How's it going? Okay, so I'm Courtney from Tiny Pokes on Insta. I am a hand poke tattoo doer of tattoos, doer of many pokes. And sorry, forgive my sips. So you've probably found your way here through my Instagram, which has definitely evolved during this pandemic. Started off as just a space for, you know, to share my art and my pictures and so on. And it has definitely transformed into something a little more. I feel like I've become quite close with a lot of you. And I always thought it was so fucking cheesy when people said shit like that. Like, oh my god, I love my followers. You're all so amazing. Except you are. You guys are all fucking hilarious and you keep me sane. And we have some amazing chats. Even a lot of chats that I have with my beautiful clients when we are tattooing often lead down the road of mental health. And recently I have opened up a little bit more about my struggles with anxiety. And the response that I've had to that has been overwhelming. So many of you guys are in the same boat and struggling with the same things. And so, you know, in an attempt to help end the stigma, I thought it would be a cool idea to do a little video talking about my experiences with anxiety. Remember, I am not a professional. I am not a therapist. All I can do is share my experiences and some of the advice that I get from my own therapist, which is pretty cool, guys, because that shit costs $180 an hour and you're getting this intel for free. So do with that what you will. Sorry, having a kombucha. I actually just drank like a whole plunger of black coffee, which is one thing I don't recommend if you have anxiety. One coffee a day is generally where we should be sitting at, but needs must, you know. So let's dig in. Anxiety is something that I think is quite widely misunderstood. Anxiety is not just getting nervous. Anxiety isn't, you know, oh my gosh, I have an exam today. It's my anxiety's playing up. Those are nerves, and I'm not invalidating nervousness or anything like that. Like, some shit in this world is terrifying. But anxiety is a whole other ball game. Anxiety manifests in many different ways. All depends on the individual. So I figured what I might do is read out the old cheeky Google definition, and then sort of take it from there. So I've already, you know, something I prepared earlier. Okay, cool, you can't see that at all. So anxiety disorder is a mental health disorder characterized by feelings of worry, anxiety, no shit, or fear that are strong enough to interfere with one's daily activities. Examples of anxiety disorders include panic attacks, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. So I have been diagnosed with severe clinical anxiety and PTSD. It's treatable by a medical professional. You know, it's all about finding what works for you too. Some people really don't like talk therapy. Some people, you know, have more success with cognitive behavioral therapy. There's all sorts of ways out there to manage it. Usually self-diagnosable, lab tests or imaging not required. Symptoms include stress that's out of proportion to the impact of the event, inability to set aside a worry, and restlessness. Yeah, so that's what Google says in a nutshell. So I guess the way anxiety manifests for myself is I breathe on average 2.5 times faster and more shallow than a normal person should. I was diagnosed 3 years ago when I sought out my therapist, because I thought, well, I was diagnosed with depression from a very young age. I think I was about 13, 14. And I thought that my depression was playing up. And so how my therapist and I start every session is she runs a little test based on my feelings in the last 7 days, and it's all like a sliding scale. And so what it does is it comes up with an indication of where you're at. So some of the questions are in relation to depression and some are in relation to anxiety. A normal score on this test, you know, a mentally well person should be scoring between a 0 and a 7. 7 is on the higher side. 15 is extremely severe, and the maximum that you can score on this is 21. Last week I had my first therapy session in a long time, and we checked in, did the classic test, and I scored a 7 for depression, so normal, not really a depressed guy. But I scored 20 on the anxiety scale. This also goes hand in hand with counting my breaths, and that is where I learned that, yeah, I'm not getting enough oxygen in my system. And then yesterday's session I broke records and scored a 21. So that is the maximum you can get. So yeah, shit's going a bit fast up there. So anxiety manifests in many different ways, as I mentioned, well, kind of touched on before. So for myself, it's an almost constant feeling of panic and doom. You know that gut feeling that you get when you know something bad's about to happen? It's that constantly. And whilst your mind knows that the fear is irrational, mate, we're dealing with chemicals. They don't give a shit what your rational mind thinks. It's all feelings and sensations. So there's this constant feeling of doom, constantly feeling like I've got butterflies in my stomach, feeling restless, feeling nervous, an inability really to stay still. Yeah, basically my mind is constantly racing. I don't really suffer from panic attacks. A lot of people do. Again, anxiety is completely different depending on the individual, but basically my body is constantly in fight or flight. Another way that this is manifested for me is chronic back pain. My muscles are constantly tight from being in that, you know, fight or flight mindset all the bloody time. So yeah, long story short, it's a bit fucked. So I guess with that wee little bit of background info in mind, what I did was posted on my Insta, put up a little question box and reached out to see if you guys have any questions, because like I said, I wanted to do this video to help end the stigma. I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat with me, and if you're not in that same boat, then you probably have a loved one who is. So let's go on to the old Instagram and find these questions, and we can start having some yarns really. Hey. Oh, we've got a lot. Oh god, we've got some bot comments too. Hey, you're still not following the hottest meme page on Instagram. Who are you? Bitch, I'm following some sweet meme pages. Okay, anyway, let's crack into a few questions and yeah, hopefully I can help you guys, or help you help your loved ones, or anything. Also, as you can probably tell, this is just completely off the cuff. I have not planned this whatsoever. I am word vomiting, so hopefully this is somewhat watchable. Anyway, question number 1. What is something a friend can do for you or someone with anxiety that helps the most? One amazing practical thing that I recently asked some loved ones to help me with is just to send a text message reminding me to breathe. Sounds so basic, obviously when breathing, but being told to breathe and being prompted means to take that moment and do, learn how to do diaphragmatic breathing. That's the, the yoga breathing into your belly and your, what's that? Solar plexus? No, diaphragm. That makes sense because it's diaphragmatic breathing. Shot court, you are doing a great job today. So it's breathing in through the nose. Make sure you feel your belly expand, and then out through the mouth. So try to do this a few times a day. I set little alarm reminders, but hearing it from a loved one means a lot more. It means a lot to know that you're on someone's mind and that they're aware of what you're going through and they're trying to help you get through it. So if you know someone with anxiety and you know that they're struggling, what I would do is ask them, is there something practical that I can do to help you out? Because some people might not have the issues with breathing that I have, it could manifest completely differently for someone else. So yeah, reach out and ask them and they'll be pumped that you give a shit, basically. It's a good feeling, that one. Another question is, how do you find motivation to function on your shitty days? I think the thing about anxiety is it is high functioning. Like you're going and you're going and you're going. So it's more about slowing down, I guess. So I guess it's not so much a question of motivation. It's more, I try to stick to my routines. So all through this lockdown business, I have still gotten up, in the mornings, put on a full face of makeup. Oh my God, I burped. Tastes like kombucha. I put on my makeup, not because I need to look good when I'm chilling out around the house, but because it is my routine and it's just part of my day. So whatever routine looks like for you, I guess try and stick with it. I don't seem to gain any benefit from staying in bed because having an overactive mind and a stationary body don't tend to work very well together. So I'm trying to walk more frequently as well. That really helps if I'm having a particularly shitty day. Sometimes you just need to tire yourself out a little bit and just slow everything down. So hopefully that helps. This next question is a tough one because I am not a doctor, but it's meds versus no meds and getting diagnosed. Okay, so in regards to getting diagnosed, oh my gosh, get therapy. It is a game changer. And dude, no matter like how fucked up you think you are, they have heard it all. So it is extremely validating to be able to spill my guts to someone and have her be like, oh yeah, and then walk me through everything and give me practical solutions. So in terms of getting a diagnosis, talk to your GP. That first conversation is really tough. I'm lucky I have an amazing GP who's really good with mental health stuff. If you're in Hamilton, Dr. Jason Kyung is everything. He's amazing. He also books out really fast, so piss off, he's mine. Reach out to your GP and tell them that you're struggling. that you need a hand, there are some great resources in New Zealand, and your first, I forget whether it's 3 or 4, but your first few sessions are fully funded, which is amazing, because shit's expensive, yeah, $180 an hour. I can think of other things I'd like to spend that money on, but you cannot put a price on mental health, can you? I'm a strong advocate for therapy. I firmly believe that every adult should have a therapist, whether or not, you know, things are manifesting in a certain way, or whether or not you feel like you're struggling. It's so good to have someone impartial to talk through shit with. So reach out, find someone who's a good fit for you. If you go to someone and you don't gel with them, please don't give up. You know, I've had some pretty shit experiences in the past, but my current therapist is incredible. I really mesh well with her. And again, my GP is fantastic too, which helps. So get those support systems in place, get that diagnosis, and start working on yourself. In regards to medication, it's been years of trial and error for me to find something that works for me. I now take sertraline, and I take diazepam when I need it, otherwise known as Valium, the good shit. I try not to use it as a crutch because it's extremely addictive and it does lose, you know, effectiveness over time. But that is how I myself am medicated. I also support myself by taking vitamins. Big fan of ashwagandha, big fan of Vitex, big fan of L-theanine. L-theanine is nature's Valium. So if you know, want to try something to support those anxious feelings, but you don't want to go down, you know, the pharmaceutical route, give L-theanine a jam. It's freaking incredible. I love it. I love it, I love it. So re-medication, everyone is going to be completely different, and it's a matter of figuring out what works for you. But I'd be an absolute mess if I wasn't medicated. So yeah, thankfully something in the modern medicine world is really working for me, and it makes my day-to-day a lot easier. What are some coping techniques when you have anxiety? I'm struggling at the moment. Oh babe, I feel that. Okay, here are some coping techniques. I paid $180 an hour for these coping techniques, and I'm giving them to you for free, so you know, I'm just putting that out there. Yeah, enjoy. So a good one, these are going to sound pretty dorky, but once you put them into practice, they're good. What you need to do is you need to occupy your mind with something neutral. So one of my techniques from Chrissy, my therapist, is count backwards out loud from 100 in twos. So 100, 98, 96, 94. You know, or you could do it in threes, but something, you know, if you were to just count backwards from 100, it would be quite easy to do it mindlessly. But when you do it in twos or threes, you really have to think about it, so you become quite engaged in it. That's a really cool little technique. Another good one is viewing your anxious thoughts as boxes. So say something just keeps on coming to you, put it in a box. If you cannot deal with that thought straight away, put it on a shelf, deal with it later. If you can deal with this thought straight away, then unpack and get it out and get that done. What other techniques? Practicing mindfulness seems to be a real buzzword at the moment, but there are, you know, some great ways to do it in your day-to-day. This is hella boring, but it's meant to be. So this is another technique from Chrissy. Say you're washing your dishes, love that. Observe what you're doing and kind of narrate it in your mind. So be like, this is a white ceramic mug with a silver handle. I am currently cleaning the inside, now I'm cleaning the outside. Oh yeah, got that handle looking nice and shiny, cool. Let's put that aside, move on to the next one. So you can say this out loud or you can go through it in your head, whatever works for you. I don't mind sounding like a bit of a lunatic, but yeah, we're all different. And then another good one as well for grounding, if you tend to dissociate, describe your surroundings in very rich detail as if you were describing them to a blind person. So for example, this plant has a glossy texture to its leaves. It's a beautiful shade of mid-green. The leaves are purple on the underside. It cascades in vines, and you know, you get the picture. This scarf is a beautiful burnt rust orange color. It has black spots. It is a very soft woven material. Yeah, shit like that. Narrate. Those are really good techniques to help you to slow down. I also literally tattooed slow down on my wrist, which sounds kind of stupid, but every time I glance at it, it is a reminder just to zen out a little bit. So I hope any of those work, hopefully. There are some amazing resources out there. There are some amazing apps. I fully recommend Breathe with 2 E's. So like breathe. It's got like heaps of meditations and like guided ones, things like that. Because I really haven't nailed the meditating thing, but I know that that is brilliant for people who suffer from anxiety, so give that a jam as well. Next question. Any tips on supporting a partner with anxiety who has the occasional anxiety attack? Check in with them, you know, check in with your partner, ask how they're coping. As I mentioned before, like ask them if there is anything practical that you can do to help them out. Even ask if they would appreciate a reminder to slow down now and then. I don't feel in a position to give advice on anxiety attacks because I don't really suffer from them. I have had a couple, but I don't know how to resolve them. Encourage your partner to reach out to a professional and possibly like go to a session with them. You know, let them go to a few on their own so they can talk it out, figure out what their anxiety means to them, how it manifests for them, and then you can, you know, learn how best to help them out. Sorry, not an incredible response to that one. Everyone's so different. So just, try be there for them as best as you can. Totally feeling you with this anxiety buzz. Your posts are so positive. How do you do it? So I don't believe in fake it till you make it. But for the most part, I'm quite a positive person. And I also believe that the energy you put out is what you get back. So it takes a bit of focus. It takes a lot of focus. I'm an extremely distracted human being, as you can probably tell. But I don't know. Art is an incredible release for me. So I think the reason why I am so positive on this Instagram is because it's my happy place. I've also managed to attract an audience that is positive. You guys gas me up. You know, I always felt like it was so dorky when people would be like, oh my god, I love my followers, they're so cool. Ooh. It's like, bitch, how do you know thousands and thousands of people? They're bound to be some assholes in there. But seriously, I have not had like one shitty encounter through this Insta. Bar that person who's trying to get me on their fucking multi-level marketing bullshit. No time for that. Actually, that's another little tangent that I can go off. one thing that I found amazing is, so I don't really post on my like personal Instagram anymore. One thing I found is whenever I switched over to my art Insta, scrolling through, I felt good instead of down afterwards, because I follow artists, not influencers. So I have a scroll and I get inspired. So I can sit there and, you know, waste a couple of hours cranking around the gram, and then afterwards be like, I want to draw, I want to create. That is my happy place. And that has been, handpoke in particular has been huge for helping with my anxiety, because it's so slow, it's so deliberate, you have to be patient, you have to be slow. So find something that works for you, find an outlet to channel that nervous energy. Yeah, for me that's certainly been art. It could be music, it could be, you know, you might enjoy writing. If you're not a creative person, it could be going for a walk, it could be going for a drive, cooking, you know, anything like that. Find something that brings you joy, that allows your mind to rest, and take it and roll with it, because that's a major help. And I've got another one here. I love how you are stepping back and taking care of yourself. Never stop being you. That's not a question, but I really appreciate it. That's really kind. Kindness helps. Be kind to yourself too, as well as be kind to others. Just be gentle on yourself. You know, the world is a harsh enough place to live in without, you know, this is a lot easier said than done, but without adding to it via, you know, self-loathing. Practice positive self-talk. I went through a period where I had written stuff all over my mirrors, like, I choose to be calm, I choose to be, I don't know, whatever. There were words that I wrote on my mirrors, and even just reading them, it drilled it into my subconscious, and that was another really nice thing to do. Do that. That's another thing you should do. Write on your fucking mirror. Do that. Okay, do you have strategies for when things are really bad? So there are the techniques that I mentioned earlier, you know, counting backwards from 100 in twos, the mindfulness. When things are really, really, really bad, I like to read. I could be rereading Harry Potter for the 1000th time. The Odd Self-Help book is fantastic. I actually brought this one along because, holy crap, this is a banger. So, Renew Your Mind, How to Rewire Your Brain for a Happier, Healthier Life. So it's written by a clinical psychologist. I have a feeling she's a Kiwi too. Clever tart, eh? But it's amazing. It's also like a little bit of a workbook. So there are like exercises in here that you can do. This thing is this is like my Bible. No, I am not being endorsed in any way, shape or form to say this, but this thing is fucking amazing. I was just browsing at Paper Plus and saw it, and man, I have spent some money on self-help books and some of them are trash, but this for the anxious mind has been incredible, so I can't recommend that one enough. So in terms of strategies for when things are really bad, I try the mindfulness. If it's not working, I'll just try a little bit of old-fashioned escapism. So whether that's reading, whether that's playing Pokemon on my Switch, something like that. Yeah, just try to occupy myself mindlessly. What techniques and methods do you use to keep it in check? I feel like a lot of these things I have answered. Things you find helpful in managing your triggers. If I know that something could trigger me, I try to avoid, like the plague. That was another really cool piece of advice from Chrissy. don't rely on willpower. Yeah, don't rely on willpower, control your environment. I was using alcohol as a crutch for way too long, and I try to like talk myself into, oh yeah, you know, I can have this in the house, I'll only have a little bit now and then. Like I'd buy a litre bottle of vodka and be like, cool man, that's gonna last me ages. But it wouldn't. I am the type of person who does not do shit by halves. I don't know if you guys saw my little live, but yeah, your gal can drink. So instead of relying on willpower to, you know, stop myself from reaching for that bottle to numb and slow my mind down, I just have been trying to get it out of the house. So yeah, control your environment as best as you can to keep those triggers out. I find that that's the best piece of advice that I've been given so far. What have we got? How do you find meeting new people every day? I fucking love it. I love it. I genuinely love people. I love talking to people. I love, you know, learning about my friends, learning what makes people tick. So that is definitely, you know, something that I don't struggle with. I think as well, having an anxious mind, it's a distraction from that. Getting to care for another person or talk to another person or even chat to someone about their day or talk through their issues, it takes my mind away from that frantic feeling because I get to engage with someone else and look after them and put my energy somewhere else, and that's really valuable. Yeah, so yeah, not somewhere I struggle. What are some daily things you do to help reduce your anxiety? I've just recently been diagnosed. Walk every day. Walk every day. You really need to use that adrenaline that's going through your system. So I walk for at least half an hour a day. I've been walking for about 1.5 to 2 hours a day recently, and then yesterday I woke up and my body was so sore and I was so exhausted and I didn't go for my walk. And then I caught up with my therapist and I told her about that, and she was like, Courtney, you've got to walk every day. Don't do those big walks, just do half an hour where you pound it out and just do it. So get some headphones, like make a playlist of like absolute bangers, listen to shit that you love and pound the pavement. That's a huge help. That's my one thing that I have to do daily. Find yourself a routine. So like I said, for me, I get up in the morning and I put my makeup on, and again, it's not about like looking good and we're just kicking it around the house and the shop's not open at the moment, but it's my routine and it's mine. And the other thing as well, I try to draw daily. I'm getting to a point where I'm trying my best not to beat myself up if I don't get round to drawing, but find yourself an outlet. Finding tattooing, I could say saved my life. Finding that good outlet, healthy outlet, and having something that I can just throw myself into where my mind is at ease when I've got a pen in my hand, or a needle. Yeah, completely transform my life. So look into things that bring you your bliss and just grab them with both hands and go for it. What have I got? Any natural products or things you tried that help? I went to a hypnotist once when I was desperate. Dude, I'd love to hear about your experience with a hypnotist. That'd be amazing. But in terms of natural products, holy moly, L-theanine is incredible. Yeah, again, if you don't want to go down the route of medication, that is such a personal thing. Give L-theanine a try. Like I said, it's nature's Valium. I've put a couple of friends onto it. It is a game changer, and you can use it in conjunction with medication. If you are feeling quite an acute bout of anxiety, you can actually open the capsule and put it under your tongue and it absorbs quicker. But L-theanine is game changer. Also look into adaptogenic herbs. Big fan of ashwagandha. What are the natural things? You're gonna hate me for this, but exercise. I hate me for it too, fuck. I hadn't exercised in years until recently. Ugh. But now I've learned to really love my walks. Because it's a chance to deal with all that excess energy and just get that shit out of my system. So yeah, find a form of exercise that you genuinely enjoy. I'm also trying to get into yoga and Pilates, but because my back is kind of screwed, I don't want to just do it alone at home. So I'm waiting for level 2 or level 1 where I can get someone to show me what to do with my body. I'm looking at you. Thank you. How did you get hold of CBD oil in New Zealand, and has it helped your anxiety? There are ways. Slide into my DMs if you would like to. But I actually have a pod for my Juul vape, which is CBD, which I brought home in my luggage from Hawaii. I'd forgotten about it and then found it and was like, oh. So yeah, I've got that. But you might not be planning on a trip to Hawaii anytime soon, so yeah. But there are ways, so you just flick me a message. Did you get professional help? If so, how did you work up the courage to talk to a doctor? So yeah, as mentioned, I do get professional help, and oh, best thing ever. It was terrifying talking to the doctor, but I should just say a wee trigger warning here. I am about to talk about suicide, so you may want to skip forward a little bit if this may trigger you. But 3 years ago, I made an attempt on my life and ended up in hospital, and I don't want other people hitting rock bottom the way I did before they get help. So you've got to be brave. You've got to, and it is brave. It's such a brave thing to do, to put your hand up and say, dude, I cannot do this on my own. I need some help. The fact that, you know, you're even asking is a huge step in the right direction. So find a GP that you vibe with, talk to them, and they will put you on track for finding a good therapist. If you are in Hamilton, I can recommend a couple of really good ones. But, you know, if you're not, no, most of you guys aren't. If you're not, yeah, talk to your doctor and suss it. And then my last wee question here is, how do you navigate anxiety in relationships, especially serious ones? That's tough, hey? It's a hard one. Talk. I have to give the hugest shout out to my mum, because fuck, she's kept me sane, dude. You know, be honest about what you're going through, and be honest if there are practical things that the important people in your lives can do to help. Lean on your friends, you know, yeah, fill your cup as much as you can. That's another thing I believe, you cannot pour from an empty cup, so lean on your relationships and let people take care of you. I don't know if you're the stubborn type or not, but I can be. And the second I put my pride to one side and asked my friends for help was when shit really started turning around. So do that. Your friends are your friends because they love you and they care about you, and you know, a good friend will only ever want to see you flourish. So lean on it. Yeah, that is the end of my questions. Just trying to think if there's any more info I should throw at you guys. Again, please bear in mind, I am not a doctor, I am not a professional. I'm just some loser who does handpoke tattoos on the internet sharing my story. I'm sure that I'll finish this and think of 1,000 other things that I should have said, so who knows, maybe I will revisit this down the track. If there's anything you do think I missed or anything you want to hear about, let me know, because I'm an open book. And again, this is so dorky, but I feel like I have attracted the coolest group of followers on Instagram, like the coolest. I feel sorry for everyone else because my followers are the tits. But, if there's anything more you want to hear from me on the subject of anxiety, get in touch. My DMs do tend to go a little bit crazy, / a lot crazy. They are, my unreads, my requests are constantly at 99 plus. So I do my best to respond if I can see, like I'll have a little scroll through, and if I can see that something is anxiety or mental health related, I do always try to give advice where I can, or just, you know, root people on. Yeah, this sense of community on this page has been amazing, and without you guys, there's no way I'd be sitting here making this video right now. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess that's it for now. Another thing that a few people have reached out about is I do have a history of ED, which is eating disorders, not erectile dysfunction, as someone mentioned, which I nearly pissed my pants laughing at, actually. That's something that I will address another time as well, because that's been a huge struggle, and it also goes hand in hand with anxiety. Yeah, hopefully this has helped give you a little bit of perspective on what an anxious mind is like. Anxious people come across as happy, like they've got it all together. You know, sometimes you really don't know. You really don't know what someone's going through until you talk to them. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a good note to end on. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. You're a champ. I have the attention span of something with a short attention span, so if you're still here, love ya. Yeah, I look forward to chatting with you guys more on Insta, and I hope this video helps, even if just one piece of advice, you know, resonates with you, or helps you help out someone you love, then it's done its job. So keep in touch, look after each other, love each other hard. Life is short. Live, laugh, love, fucking YOLO, whatever. God, I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.